Hi, today as part of our Business Spotlight program, I'm talking to Cian Hore, and he's Managing Director of the Personal Freight Services. They're based in Clontarf in Dublin. So over to you, Cian. What is it you do and for how long have you been doing it?
Thanks, Kevin, and thanks for having me on. As you said, it's I'm managing director of personal company called Personal Freight Services, based here in Clontarf in Dublin. We've also an office in Ilford in London. We're freight forwarders and independent customs agents, and I've been in the industry for 16 years now at this stage, but actually probably a little bit longer than that. My dad had his own freight forwarding company for years previous. So I would have done summers and Christmases with him between school and college. So a little bit longer than 15, 16 years anyway.
Fantastic. Yeah, fantastic. So it's in the blood, basically. Yeah.
It's in the blood, yeah, it's in the blood.
Fantastic. And you've been growing over that period of time. And what do you attribute your growth to?
I suppose personally, Kevin, I've always been a kind of an ambitious person, whether that be through sport at an early age and bringing it into the professional side. I've always wanted to run my own business, and maybe attributing that down to being around dad and what he would have done over the years, and I suppose subconsciously, but also just trying to maybe take on my own business and see where it could go to and where I could get it to, and that's still kind of the case today with personal freight services. I'm still striving to see where we can get to over the next 5 to 10 years. I suppose dedication would be a big one for me, that I would also have been kind of fiercely dedicated to personal freight itself and the job. And I've never been your kind of 9 to 5 type of person. I'm rarely in the office, I suppose, by 9:30 most mornings anyway, just for kids, etc. But the phone would be going from kind of pre 7 o'clock, let's say, with emails or phone calls. So it's never bothered me in terms of having that in the background. It's kind of great to have an overview and stay involved and stay on top of what's going on in the business. Also, I've been kind of very lucky to have two kind of really good business mentors, as I class them, Adams, over the years. One of them being obviously dad, and having kind of 45 years experience in the ship and transport industry. That's obviously a great pool of experience to dip in and out of. And also the founder, co-partner of mine, Dave McQuaid, who founded Personal Freight Services, who's since retired. To have both them, they won't like me saying it, but I suppose 90 plus years experience to kind of jump in and out of. Kind of, there's not a whole lot those two guys wouldn't have seen over the years. So kind of that as well. But I suppose on a business side with personal freight, I'd be lying if Brexit wasn't a huge opportunity for us, which I'll kind of delve into later on a little bit. And that we were kind of well geared up for that, and kind of took not full advantage, but advantage of what we could around that time.
Fantastic. That was good to see some good news around Brexit. Yeah. Yeah, great. I don't know, if you had to start from square one in business, what would you do differently?
Yeah, that's a good question, I suppose, Kevin. Kind of a tough one for me to answer. I've never been that type of guy that would, have many regrets or kind of dwell on things. But I suppose I'm thinking about it. If I had to pick one, it would be probably in around Brexit, that we didn't set up in the UK earlier than we did. So the main 70-75% of our business over the years, over 15, 20 years, would be Irish UK, UK Irish haulage. We would do worldwide stuff as well, but between Europe and Asia and America. But Ireland, UK would have been where it was at for a long time. So we kind of set up PFS, Personal Freight Services UK, in Ilford in 2019 off the back of Brexit, kind of as a necessity. We had to have a UK company, a VAT number, an EORI number over in the UK to trade as a customs broker. So we could either just not set up in the UK and just do the Irish side, Irish import or export, or be able to give our customers the kind of end-to-end service, doing an Irish export, UK import, or vice versa, UK export, Irish import. So, and that's been a huge success, but it kind of still plays on my mind a little bit that if we had a set up maybe in around the time Brexit was announced, maybe I think around mid 2016, we probably would have been in a position to go after maybe the wider, manufacturing, export, import market in the UK, because you probably know from the news around that time there was very, very little information from the UK government, Boris Johnson, to the companies, manufacturers all across the UK. So it just kind of rankles a little bit that if we had been maybe back then and thought a little bit quicker, we could have done, we could have helped the companies over there, and educated them further, and then obviously in turn picked up a little bit more business. But look, it hasn't been too bad.
Fantastic. Listen, that's great. As you say, it's great to hear some good news about Brexit. And again, what have been your biggest learnings, as an employer since you began working in business, in your own business?
I suppose over the years, probably would have been slow enough to do this ourselves, Kevin, would be the importance of creating a good working culture. We had to learn very, very quickly. We were kind of a team of 4 up until 17, 18 maybe, and we've 22 as of today, a couple of part-time guys in the background. So, and that's obviously attributed, I suppose, majorly to Brexit, both on the customs side and on the freight side as well. But it would be that important to creating a good culture, a good kind of place to work, a nice place to work, and which would have been key for me. I suppose looking at how we did that would be, and we do this today, would be empowering the staff and trusting our staff when they come through the door, that they take full autonomy for their jobs. I certainly don't micromanage. I don't have a clock in, clock out kind of system where I'm wondering where staff are. I trust them to do their job, and if their customers are looking for them, that they're at the other end of the phone. And I think if you do that, you generally tend to get it back in spades as well. Kind of always adopted a good people first policy when looking at hiring staff or looking at staff. Haven't always got that right, in fairness. And over the last couple of years, we've had a couple, but give me the personality, I suppose, before the CV. The CV will get you the interview, but the personality for me will always get you the job, because that's somebody who me as managing director or at the top can work with. And then if I can do that, I'm sure the rest of the team can, As well as that, I've always tried to hire. I'm big enough to understand that you can't know everything or can't do everything. So I've always, certainly in key positions in the business, I've always looked at hire people that know more than you in those areas, whether that be in HR, whether that be in operations and customs, that you get guys through or people through the door that are going to grow the business, that you learn that it's not all about you and you can't do everything. And certainly in my case, you don't know everything. So that you get people, surround yourself with people that do. And I think that's that was key for us, certainly growing over the last 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, they're all very strong management skills or trades, whichever way you want to call it, to hire people who know more than you do. It's surround yourself with people who know more, and that's absolutely fundamental to very successful businesses. I suppose the other one is, you've worked hard to build up the business, and over all your working life, really. How do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
I suppose that's the $1 million question, isn't it? I have a wife, Angela, and I have 2 boys. Daniel's 8 and Louis 6. So that's kind of an important one for me at this stage. I think the first thing is probably accepting that there's, I suppose I believe, anyway, in my opinion, that there's no such thing as a perfect work-life balance, and it's something that kind of needs maybe constant work. That every week is different. It's I suppose what I mean by that is that there's no perfect schedule, and one week is not the same as the next, or 1 month certainly is not the same. So, 1 week in my world could be dominated by work, where that would be, certainly in our industry, and freight and customs is very reactive as well. There's a lot of planning that can go into it, but a lot of it is, issues or problems within the business, or even a week where I spend a lot of time in the UK that I could be away. But on the flip side then is realizing and knowing that you do get your weeks as well, where it's a little bit quieter, and that you surround yourself with a really good team that are, in my opinion, capable of handling themselves in any situation, or any situation that's thrown at them. So on those days or those weeks, then being able to kind of slip off at 5 in the evening and go to Louis' football training, hurling training, soccer training, wherever it is, which I enjoy doing as well. But I think that all is easy enough done, because I do generally enjoy my job. I enjoy what I do. I think it's I don't see it as a day's work. I don't see it as something hard. That's why the hours never really bothered me. It's I don't get the Sunday night blues. I don't get any of that stuff. Never have, which I think is shows that the job is maybe more of an interest to me rather than seeing it as a job. But don't get me wrong. Look, I get the same bad days, I suppose, or stressful days as everyone else, but I kind of relate it back to driving in the driveway then and running into an 8 and a 6-year-old who will ground you very, very quickly, and they don't really care how your day went, to be honest. It's football, or it's PlayStation 5 or something like that,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's as I say, to get that balance right is really important. I do a lot of that work with clients, because you can be consumed by the business, basically. There's always something to do, actually, in a small business. Yeah. Well, that's great. That's great to get that, and again to get the kids, because take it from me, the time with the kids goes by real quick.
Everyone keeps telling me, all right, and from when they were born to 8 and 6 now, it's just gone flow by.
They'll be looking for the car keys in no time, So going back to employees, and I think you've touched on it a bit before, but what qualities do you look for in an employee, and how do you foster the positive and productive work environment?
Yeah, I think I have mentioned already, Kevin. It's for me and the guys here in HR and any of the staff members that are hiring. I've tried to filter through them, that we always go for the person first. It's key for us, the personality. I think I mentioned obviously the CV, certainly in here will get you in the door. Of course, look, there's certain things we do, whether it be customs or operations or HR, that need a certain skill set, but the CV certainly will get you through the door in here for us. But I would love to sit in an interview or in a room with a guy, and the personality or the person will certainly be the person I look for, rather than like if I come in with a guy that's highly educated or has X, Y, and Z and they can't hold a conversation. That'd be a major turn off for me. It'd be give me any guy or woman that would come through, could sit in my office or in a high pressure environment and be able to hold a conversation. That would definitely be the type of person that I would be, I suppose, drawn to. Honesty and trustworthy, and probably the cliches coming out now, but I suppose as a managing director, a leader of a business, they are the key ones. You look for honesty in staff from day one. I think you can see that early enough. Trust and trustworthiness kind of comes with time, but I go back to the process of ourselves. We give the staff autonomy. We let them make the decisions. We let them drive the business themselves, with our full support, of course. And then by doing that, they're in control of their own decisions. And I think then through those decisions and choices they make over the 3, 6, 9, 12 months in the business, you can see, are they designed to be with us, or is it another industry or another company that they may be better suited to,
Yeah.
But it's definitely that. But in terms of the good environment, I suppose the culture of honesty is key for us as well. We have a rule, certainly in custom, because it's so fast paced. There's no such thing as a stupid question. So that the lads, we have a policy where the guys can work from home a day or 2 a week, no problem there. But certainly on the customs team of 8, 9 now, we generally all like to be in the office because it's so fast paced, and like that they can ask questions on different commodity codes or different origins, anything that's up in the air. They have their colleagues there to kind of help them with. So we don't micromanage, or I certainly don't micromanage. I'm big on letting them loose and letting them off. I don't need the guys knocking me around. My door's always open. They're forever in and out, which is a good thing because it's an open platform, open conversations. So that's obviously a big thing too. But that's really it, Kevin, to be honest.
Fantastic. That's Cian, that's great. And I suppose to finish up, what are some common misconceptions about running a business, and how do you address them?
It's another tough one. I suppose the key one, maybe from let's say being the managing director, or I don't really like the word boss, to be honest with you, but would be the one that you are your own boss. So I'd always hear people saying, "Oh, you're your own boss. You can do what you want. You can do as you please," and that can help in certain areas, i.e. timekeeping and being around kids or getting off for football training. But I wouldn't buy into the whole comment, I suppose, of being your own boss, because I would see myself as being accountable basically to the staff I have here in Personal Freight. That the guys I'd be very, very much aware that their livelihoods would depend on ourselves in Personal Freight, and could depend, I suppose, on a bad decision by myself, or a couple of bad decisions that could lead the business down a wrong track, and that their livelihoods certainly would depend on the success of Personal Freight. Like we would have had in 2023, we had 4 staff here that all got their first time mortgages. So wow. I would see that as a sense of achievement on my side, on our side as a business, that we're obviously doing something right. That if those guys, especially in today's world and today's market in Ireland, how hard it is, I suppose, to get that first mortgage. So the fact that 4 of them in here in that year's period were able to do that would be, you wouldn't be jumping around singing it, but in my eyes, that's success in its own right. Fantastic. But I think you're in a better position, Kevin, if you do that, rather than be that, if you're running a business like that and you feel that you are accountable, rather than a business where the person at the top feels, no, I'm the man here, I'm the woman here, and I haven't got to answer to anyone. Well, then you're not really held accountable. No, and it's absolutely, yeah. Sometimes you feel like you've got multiple bosses, Exactly, yeah. Well, I do in here anyway. They're all able to open their mouth, don't get me wrong.
Very good. Listen, Cian, it's been great chatting to you today, and there's some great stuff in there for our viewers, and I really appreciate you taking the time to do this interview. Thanks again.
No problem at all, Kevin.